Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome to DIY Art Plus. So today I'm going to show you how I paint this painting step by step, and if you also like to paint with me, you can also do that because I'm going to show you like literally step by step, and I'm going to show you what materials I will be using in a second. But if you are new to my channel, make sure you subscribe to my channel and also like this video if you enjoy watching and painting with me video. So let's start. So these are the materials basically I'm gonna be using today, and I'm also gonna be putting the link of the product where I get it, so that just in case if anyone here interested getting similar kind of supplies, you can. So this kind of a painting that I'm doing today, you can also do the same thing using watercolor paints, to be honest, but today I'm gonna be using acrylic paint. So these are the paints I'm gonna be using. As you see, I already poured white paint out, but if you want to do this same thing on a watercolor paper using watercolor paint, you can also do that. Alright, so I don't have any more turquoisey color in this bottle, so I'm gonna be using this tube turquoisey color. I have this magenta, it says deep magenta, and I'm gonna be using black. So here I already take the paint out on my plate here. So here are all the colors I will be using: red, orange, yellow, white, this turquoisey color, and I don't know if you can see that, but it's light color. Alright, and magenta, and I'm also gonna be using this black here. Alright, so here I'm gonna be using today canvas panel. As you can see, it's kind of a little flat, so it's nice panel that I'm using today. Again, I'm gonna put the link down below just in case if anyone interested painting on a panel. I'm gonna be using these all three brushes. So now if you are painting first time or if you are beginners, I'm sure you don't all have similar kind of brush that I'm using. And let me tell you something, you don't have to completely use the brush that I am using, but if you like to, here are all the numbers of the brushes. You can maybe rewind or pause the video where I'm showing you the number of the brush. So I'm gonna be using this big one first to work on the background, and you need a cup of water. And just a little tip, if you are painting on a canvas, what I like to do is just take a little bit of water and apply it on everywhere on my canvas. This will help you to spread and blend your colors later very easily. Trust me, it's a little trick that always helped me to like have that nice blend on the background. Alright, so here I take a little bit of water on my brush, and I'm just using this paper towel to just dry that extra water from my brush. Now I'm gonna start thinking what I want to make on my painting. So on my background, I'm gonna add the sky and the water area now. So I'm gonna start working on the nice like a lighter pinkish color, and for that I'm gonna be using some white and a little bit of magenta color here. Now if you don't have magenta, you can also use like a kind of real red color, but here I'm trying to go for very pinkish little shade here, kind of a little pink purple. So here I mix white and the magenta together. Alright, so now I'm gonna apply this color in the center, like middle of the canvas area, so maybe about like I'm gonna cover like 2 to 3 inches in the middle. So very basic simple brush strokes I'm using, just left to right, very simple strokes here. Just go left to right just like this. This is up to you how dark, how light you want your background, your sky. I am trying to make it not too dark, not too light. So if you feel like this color is still too dark, you can also add some white on top to make it lighter, but I really want to make it like slightly more darker, so that's why I'm adding just a little bit of more magenta here. Whenever I'm working on the background, I like to work a little bit quicker so that my paint don't dry and it's easy to blend other colors together. So now I'm gonna move on to my next color, which is kind of a little peachy shade. For this I'm gonna take a little bit of red, yellow and orange equal amount, and a little bit more white. So more white, less of other colors. If that makes sense. Okay, so yeah, you just have to like mix a little bit of paint as you go, so you're gonna get more idea how dark, how light you wanna get. All right, so here I'm just adding a little bit on top and a little bit on bottom like that. Now I'm not touching my magenta color here, my pink color here. I'm just covering about like couple inches on this area here. I'm gonna leave little space on top and the bottom for my next color. All right, so here I am just applying this color here. All right, so as I said earlier, to blend these colors together, you just have to work a little bit quicker. So now what I'm doing is going in between those two colors like this, and then it's gonna do its magic. So again, as you see, I am just going left and right between those two colors. If you feel like you are getting this kind of a fuzzy line, just take a little bit of more that peach color on your brush and go over that area like that, and just go back and forth, left and right. The more you go, it's gonna blend more, so just keep going back and forth on those areas. Now I feel like my magenta, my pink color is super light, so I am applying a little bit more of that color one more time in middle. So I always like to say this is like there is no right no wrong here. So that's why if you are working with acrylic color, if you don't like anything, just apply whatever color you want to on top, right? So that's the best part about using acrylic paint. All right, so here I'm all done and I'm just cleaning my brush here. Alright, so before my paints dry, I'm just gonna move on to my next color, which is kind of a little lighter bluish turquoisey color. So here I am using this white and a little bit of turquoisey blue color, whatever shade you want to use there, and I'm just directly going on my canvas here. But if you feel like it's a little bit hard for you to go directly on your canvas, you can also mix this color on your palette first and then apply it on your canvas. I just find it so easy to just directly put it on my canvas, and we'll see what's gonna happen, and that's the best part. Alright, so now I repeat the same thing again on the bottom of my canvas. So the top half of the canvas is gonna be the sky, and the bottom half is gonna be the water. So everything we're gonna do on the bottom, it's the reflection of the sky. Alright, so I was a little bit struggling here working on this bottom of this area because everything on my canvas is still wet. If you are using easel, it's gonna be easier for you to work on the top and bottom at the same time without like struggling like this. But I'm not using my easel here right now, but if you have, you can. Alright, so here now I'm taking as you see, I am not cleaning my brush here. I'm just gonna take a little bit white and I'm just gonna go between my peach color and the white color like that. Like I said, I'm just a little struggling here holding my canvas, but okay, so yeah, again I did the same thing on the bottom of the blue and peach area. I just apply a little bit of white and just going in between like that. So I'm not going too many times, just a couple times there. Now I'm gonna add some more shade. Okay, so here I'm taking a little bit blue and just adding like couple lines using just a tip of my brush, and then I'm gonna go back and kind of spread that color a little bit, but not completely, because I really wanted to add some kind of a texture there. So I am not blending this color with the background color. As you can see, I'm just going one or maybe two times after I add those lines there. Okay, so now I'm gonna repeat that same thing with the black. As you can see, this is super dark color, so I'm just taking a just maybe tiny bit of and just add like one line on the top, maybe couple on the bottom. Okay, and then I'm gonna go on that line and I'm just gonna spread that a little bit and not completely again blending with the background color. I'm just gonna go like one or two times there because I really wanted to make some area more darker and some area more lighter. Alright, so now I'm gonna add more texture on my sky, but before I do that I have to clean my brush. So here I'm just gonna clean my brush. Alright, so are you ready for the fun part? I don't know, for me it's a little fun part. So I'm gonna start adding some kind of a little movement going on my sky. So I'm gonna be adding a whole bunch of colors here. Alright, so now I started with, to be honest, you can start with any color you want to. There is no right no wrong here. I'm just gonna start with the little bit of orange and red. So I'm just taking like tiny paint and I'm just using tip of my brush, like you can see right now. I'm just adding one line like that first, and then I'm just gonna go on that line maybe a couple more times, just maybe like that. Yeah, you can see like I'm just adding like a line and going back on that line to just kind of make it slightly lighter. And whatever I am doing on the top of my sky, I am repeating the same thing on the bottom half of the canvas. So I start with orange and the red first on the top, and I did the same thing on the bottom, and then I'm gonna repeat the same thing with the yellow color and one more color, which is blue. But for now I'm just gonna stick with the red, orange and yellow. So I add more red, orange and yellow in the peach area. Now I'm also gonna be adding a little bit of those colors on this blue area, but I'm not gonna I'm not gonna go too crazy. But here I'm adding some more orange on the blue area, and I'm gonna do the same thing on the bottom, and then I'm gonna repeat that almost the same thing with the next color. So this is the only part in this painting. It's gonna take a little time, but like I said, this is the fun step to do it. So you just have to just take your time with this part. I mean, you don't have to rush for this part. Alright, so again I am gonna repeat the same thing with the yellow color here. Again, just using barely touching my canvas with just a tip here, and I'm gonna repeat the same thing on the bottom. And then now I'm gonna start adding a little bit of those almost the same color on the center area. So on that pink area, again I'm using all these three colors, yellow, orange, red, and also this time I'm gonna be using a little bit of magenta. Alright, so here I'm all done adding the magenta. Now I'm gonna start adding some blue. So whenever I say blue, I mean the magenta, I mean the turquoise color that I already have on my plate. Alright, so here I'm just adding some nice blue on the top and also on the bottom. And as you can see, I'm also adding this a little bit of like maybe 4 or 5 lines on that page area too, but I'm adding more on the blue. Alright, so here I'm almost done now. If you are also painting with me, and if you are also done, if you want to let it dry for about like 10-15 minutes, you can also do that. I'm just not gonna let it dry. I'm just gonna move on to my next part. All the lines that I just added, it's still wet. Alright, so now I'm gonna start adding a nice big moon. Alright, and for this part actually I'm gonna be using the middle brush and just a plain white. And as you can see, I'm using my pencil here just to like figure out how what shape I really want to add, like how big I want to add. I know you cannot see my pencil line, it's because very light, but yeah, you can also use a pencil or maybe a chalk. Give you more idea where you want to add this. And I just had like a nice big half circle, and I'm just filling everything inside like that. So if you didn't let the background color dry, you might have to go over your moon maybe 2 or 3 times. Here you can see on my painting, you can see a little bit of pink on my moon, just because my background is still kind of a little wet. So yeah, if you are, I mean, if you really want to make your moon nice and bright, more white, just let this layer dry on your moon. After you're done with your whole painting, you can just go back one more time with one more layer there. All right, so now here I'm just gonna add the reflection of moon, and I'm using my big brush for that, and I'm just using just a like tip of my brush and almost like kind of a brushing it a little bit wherever I want to like create that kind of a little reflection. So do you remember how we did the background, those lines? So it's almost the same thing. I'm just kind of adding those kind of a line. I'm not going too many times on each line. I'm just like making one line. I'm just gonna just forget about that, and I'm just gonna keep adding more and more, something like that. I again like you can see more better than I'm explaining, to be honest, but yeah, just have fun with it. Alright, so yeah, I'm all done. Now I'm just gonna move on to my next part, and for this I actually am gonna make a nice color. So you can definitely use a plain black if you want to for this part, but I am mixing black and red color together. Now I am taking only maybe 1 glob of black paint and 3 glob of red color, and mix it all together, and this is the color I'm gonna be using. So I know you cannot see completely on my plate, but you can see a little different there. And now I'm gonna start adding some little mountains, some hills in the back, and for this I need to figure out where the center area is. So here I'm just adding a nice like one line in the center like that, and also touching my moon a little bit there. So again, the top is the sky and the bottom is water area. So here I add my nice line there. Again, as you can see, it's not a straight line, and I'm just adding like wiggly line on the side for the heels. And you know what, I always like to make it very small, and then I can if I want to, I can always make it a little bit bigger. So start with the very small heel, and if you think it's too small, you can just go back and one more line on top of it, and it will be bigger, right? Alright, so now I'm gonna also add one more heel on the bottom of the canvas, so this is a little closer. Alright, and I'm gonna use this bigger brush, to be honest, just to make this process a little bit quicker. And what I'm doing is kind of a little dabbing on those mountains, just because it have a little texture if I do that, instead of like swiping my brush like left and right or up and down. Instead of that, I'm just dabbing it, and that's gonna create like a little texture on your mountain. But yeah, try whichever way you are comfortable with. And I'm also gonna repeat the same thing on the bottom of that heel that I have here. Alright, so now I'm gonna start adding some reflection for those two big mountains that I have. So for this, actually I'm gonna be using some water, and I find this very easy to do it. So what I'm doing is just grabbing some water, and I'm not cleaning my brush here. I'm just gonna use the color that whatever I have left on my brush. So I'm just mixing this paint that I already have left in that brush with the water, if that makes sense. And then I'm just gonna go like this, and I'm just using my brush sideways, just using the tip of my brush and lightly touching this much of area. And I'm gonna do the same thing again on the other side, and again I'm just using that watery color. And yeah, I'm just like adding just a little touch of this color on the bottom. And I try to make it like very thin paint here. As you can see, it's super light, but if you want to make it more darker, just add that little bit of that same paint into your water mixture. Just mix it well and then do the same thing, and you will have that nice darker shadows, I mean the reflection. Alright, so my moon is super bright, right? So I'm gonna add like a little like white on those mountains and this hill that I have, and I'm just taking a little bit of white and just kind of a dabbing on mostly top of that hill area, but not going everywhere, just maybe on just some of them some of the area. And I'm also gonna do the same thing with this mountain that I have. So as you can see, if I add dabs something like this, it's gonna create the shape of those different mountains there. So yeah, and this brush actually works best for me, but if you feel like it's small area, you can definitely try using a small brush. Alright, so now here I'm all done. I'm just gonna leave that brush in my water, and I'm gonna grab my smallest brush, the tiny one, number 0 brush, and I am actually using this same color to add some grass on this bottom hill that I have. So yeah, I'm just starting from bottom and bringing my paint up like that, and you can add as many as grass, like I mean as much as you want to like add there. I'm just gonna stick with the one area and adding like 4 or 5 lines, and then I'm gonna move on to the next area and just doing the same thing again. Alright, so for the next part, I recommend to use maybe a pencil or maybe a chalk to create that heart shape. I'm just gonna be using my black paint and this small brush. Okay, so now I'm just adding a like couple drops of water into that paint, and it's gonna give me that nice sharp line. And if you are using a chalk or pencil, I recommend you to just make sure you let your moon and the other color like completely dry. So all I'm trying to do is create that heart shape first, and then also add the, so this is a tree, of course. So this is a tree. I'm just adding a like nice big branch, which is a heart shape, and it looks something like this. So again, try using maybe a chalk or pencil first and see how it's gonna turn out. And if you do that, you're just gonna get more idea like how the lines gonna look on your canvas. So yeah, okay, so now here I am all done adding that nice big heart, and now I'm just adding like random different branches, and as you can see, I'm just going like couple times on each branch because I am using very light pressure. I'm barely like touching canvas using just the tip of my brush. So yeah, and then I'm just gonna go back on that tree trunk, and I'm just gonna make it nice and thicker there. So this part was a little bit trickier because I wasn't sure how thick I really wanted to make. So try to make it just maybe a little bit thicker, and see if you want to make it more wider, more thicker, you can also do that. But yeah, and if you want to maybe use a bigger brush than what I'm using, you can also do that, definitely. I mean and I'm also a little touching the ground area, going a little bit on that like maroon shade that I have on that hill. So I'm just coming a little bit more down, maybe in the center of that hill area. and then I'm just gonna start adding some branches on my branches. So I think sometime less is better, so I'm not going very like too crazy adding all of these branches. I'm just adding like maybe 3 or maybe 4 branches on each branch. If you gonna get more idea as I'm adding more branches here. And if you have anything else in your mind you want me to like try next for the next painting, let me know in the comment. I love to get some more ideas from you guys. If you maybe want to paint something different, and you want to like see how to paint some kind of things, I will try my best to create and make that new painting. So yeah, let me know in the comment if you feel like you want me to try something different. Alright, so the next part I'm gonna add is a nice 2 cute birds. So for that I'm using same brush, same color, and I'm just adding like a little pear shape on the bottom, and then just a little circle on the top for the head. And the pear shape is like upside down, or you can also say like it's a leaf shape, and then just a little circle, tiny little one on the top like that. And I'm gonna repeat the same thing for my second bird. And now if you want to make a different size of bird, you can also do that. Maybe one big, one small, like male and female. Make one bigger and the second like more thinner, like I just did here. But I almost made like both of them like almost same shape. And I also add like tiny little beak, so like just like it's almost like a little triangle there. And then for the tail, I really wanted to make it a little bit longer, so I'm just adding like just one line on the bottom like that. Alright, so now just a couple more things I'm gonna do here. Do you remember which color I use for the mountain and the hills? I'm gonna create that color one more time. To make that, I'm taking more red and tiny bit of black. Alright, and as you can see here, I don't really like how the tree trunk look like on that ground area, so I'm just adding that little touch of that color there, so that the black of that tree trunk area don't really look like too dark. So that's why I just add a little bit of that color there. Alright, and then I also am adding some grass, and for this I actually am using a black color. I don't know if you can see the difference or not in this video, but I am using black for this part. Alright, so now I'm gonna clean my brush, and I'm gonna take some white paint here, and I'm using that small round brush. And as you can see, I started adding some flowers. And for this part actually I'm gonna say more is better. So I don't know why that white dot looks very nice and like bright there, so I was just keep adding more and more dots around the branches area. And yeah, I just go ahead and just add so many dots. Like most of them are like bigger and some of them are like very small, so it doesn't really matter how big how small you are making it. Just very randomly I'm making those dots, and it's a fun part. Alright, so yeah, this was it. I actually am all done with this painting. Let me know what do you think about this painting, if you enjoy painting with me. And if you really want to share your painting with me, how it turned out, you can also share it on my Instagram account or maybe on my Facebook. You can find the link below. And if you have any question about the project, about the materials I use, just let me know in the comment. So again, thank you so much for painting with me. I hope you guys have fun, and I will see you next time for another painting or maybe a DIY. Alright, so thank you so much. Bye.